Hello everyone, this is Dylan with DSquared Games, and I am here to introduce the second episode of our Thornwatch video series. This is the Winter and Wind scenario in the Riddle of Seasons, which is a four-part series which goes through the four different seasons over several generations in the Eyrewood following a storyline. In the previous episode, we saw the Thornwatch protecting a Grovelion pup that had been abandoned by its daughter of the Eyrewood. The daughter had become injured somehow. In this episode, we see that same Grovelion pup has grown up and become a fully grown Grovelion. However, it has, in the intervening generations, been completely abandoned by its daughter. And that daughter is gone from this scenario, and the Grovelion has permanently embedded itself in the ground. It's implanted and it hasn't moved in several generations. And the villagers in the nearby village are starting to grow concerned because they no longer have the protection of the Grovelion. And without that protection, they have started to become invaded by the evil forces of the Eyrewood. And in this case, it is spiders. These spiders are called Harvestmen, and they come in to the village and are starting to cause problems and kill villagers. And so the villagers tie a knot and call the Thornwatch during the winter to come help them with their problem with these spiders. In this episode, we have Dan and Dara returning as the Thornwatch, and I will be playing the judge. We will all be playing as different characters, though. I will be playing as a different judge. I will be playing as the judge below, and Dara will be playing as the Woldson, and Dan will be enacting the Blade. And we'll go into more detail about what those characters and the judge are within the video, so you can see that there. But we're trying to go through as many of the different characters and judges as we can through this series, so you can see as many of them as possible and how they work together and how well they can handle the different scenarios. So in this scenario, like I said, it's winter, and the Thornwatch have been called to deal with some spiders and protect the villagers. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy this next video in the series, and we'll be back in a couple weeks to do episode 3. Thanks for watching.
Alright, so this is Dylan, Dara, and Dan of DSquared Games. We're back to record our second episode of the Riddle of Seasons. And if you haven't watched the first video yet, it's on our Facebook page, and we recorded that a couple weeks ago, so make sure you go watch that first. There's not a ton of connecting between the episodes, but there is some, so if you want to see that video first, go ahead and watch that. Today we're going to do the second episode of the Riddle of Seasons called Winter and Wind, and the Thornwatch have been called to defend the village against these spiders. They're called Harvestmen. But they're spiders that also have like talons. They're kind of terrifying. So, and you'll see that they're terrifying mechanically as well. They have a lot of nasty skills. So today the Thornwatch are going to be different from the characters we used last time. We're trying to show all the different characters we can. So today Dan is going to be playing as the Blade, which in this game is kind of like the roguelike character. They use a lot of melee attacks, a lot of dagger attacks. They also can move around the board really well. They can do attacks and then move and then attack and then move, and they have a lot of ways to chain attacks together as well. And then Dara is going to be playing the Woldson, which is another character from the Dark of the Wood expansion. And this character is similar to the Warden, which is in the base game, and they do a lot of protecting the other characters from damage. So if someone else is about to be attacked, they can throw up a wall and protect them from damage and stuff like that. Also in this scenario we have villagers, and these are who we are trying to protect. The Thornwatch are trying to protect them from the spidermen, from the Harvestmen, the spiders. And then we also have the Harvestmen, which are represented by these tokens here, and they have the ability to spawn really quickly. So at the beginning of every one of their turns, they'll get to spawn one monster. Every time a villager is killed, they will be replaced by a spider, and then they also have this terrain tile over here, which will cause them to spawn as well. And so they spawn a lot, and then they also are fast, so they can move 2 spaces instead of 1 on their turn. And they're also venomous, so they do wounds to the hero's decks instead of to their discard pile, so those wounds will come into their hand more quickly. In this scenario, which is connected to the previous scenario where the Thornwatch were trying to protect the Grove Lion pup, that Grove Lion pup has grown up and become a Grove Lion, and they are kind of tree-like, so they grow into the ground and kind of sit there once they're abandoned by their daughter, which happened in the last episode. And so in this map tile here, we were trying to protect the Grove Lion, and then in this map tile over here is where the spiders will be spawning and can move in here to attack the Grove Lion. Because these two won the last adventure, the Autumn and Aurum adventure, they won the Autumnal Balm, and they can place that anywhere on the board, and they've decided to place that here where the Grove Lion is, and that will allow them at the beginning of their turn to discard a card, including wounds, to draw a new card. And so that's a helpful terrain for them. In this scenario, the Winter and Wind scenario, they will be trying to earn the Hibernal Balm, which they will be able to use in other scenarios after this one, which allows them to, when they wound a monster in that map tile, that monster won't be able to move during that round. So it kind of slows monsters down. So that's what they're going to try to win in this scenario. And just like in the previous scenario, if they win, then in our next video we'll go to the Spring and Salt scenario, the 3rd episode. And if they lose, we'll have to do the Season Eternal failure scenario. Let's see, is there anything else? Yes, I will also be playing a new judge in this scenario. Last time I played the Verdant Judge, and in this scenario I'll be playing the Judge Below. And this was the original judge. This was the only judge during the Kickstarter campaign. During the print and play, this was the judge. So these were the skills that were originally used for the judge, and then they added the other judges. In the previous video, I could have chosen the Verdant Judge or the Torch Judge. This one is the Judge of Stars or the Judge Below, and I'm playing as the Judge Below. Okay, so I think that's about it. So if you guys are ready, I already have the momentum track here, and so it looks like the villagers are going first, and at the beginning of the game, with them going first, it's very uneventful. They literally do nothing. So the only thing they can do on their turn is if there's a spider with them, they can move away from the spider, and that's it. But at the beginning of the game, there are no spiders with them. So then it's the Harvestmen's turn, and at the beginning of each of their turns, I get to remove a token from this spider nest, and that allows me to spawn a new spider into that tile. So we'll spawn a new spider there.
It's a big stack of spiders over here.
Yeah, I have my nice stack of 7 or 8 spiders here, just in case. Hopefully I'll get to use them all. And then at the each spider has the ability to move and then do an action, and their action is called Envenomed Bite, and that allows them to do a melee attack with 2 dice, and then that's the attack that adds wounds to the hand rather than the discard pile. And they can also each move 2 spaces, but this spider that's over here I'd like to keep here if possible, because the heroes can also remove tokens from this card to give me fewer spiders, but they can't do that if there's a spider here, so they'd have to come kill that one in order to do that. So I'm going to move the other 2 spiders, and I'm going to move, let's see, I'm going to move this spider here because they can each move 2 spaces, and then I will move this spider here since they can move both 2 spaces, and then I will attack with each of those. And technically you're supposed to move and attack and then move and attack, but they're both doing the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. So I will move this one and then attack this one, and I get 2 dice, and I got 1 wound. And then since I'm attacking a villager instead of the heroes, that allows me to move their momentum card down in the track. So I did 1 wound, so they're going to move down 1. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do enough to kill one, but I'll try, I guess. Should have attacked with that other one too, but I wanted to leave him there. Alright, so I did 2 wounds.
That was close.
That was. Well, even if I had done the third one, it would have had to stop here anyway. Because, so anytime a character or a monster or a villager or anything, when they hit the edge, which is the end of the momentum track, no matter how much extra damage they would take, they have to stop there, and then you have to hit them again. So I would have needed a third attack in order to hit them over. So if on that first attack I had done more damage and got them on the edge, then I would have been able to hit them off. So in that case, since that happened, I would be able to move this one in and hit another one. Let's see. But then that leaves me open to having one of them move over here and pull that off. But in order to try to detract them from doing that, I also put this Standing Stone terrain card on this tile, which makes it more difficult for them to do stuff because they can only have 2 fully powered action cards on that terrain tile, and if they have more than that, when they move there, they have to remove them. So in order to actually play actions in this game, the heroes have to have them fully powered with other cards, and so this terrain tile makes it more difficult to have a lot of those ready to go. So with that, I think I will just go ahead and move in there. That way I can at least kill 1 villager this round. The question is, do I move here or here? Because I can move into 2. I could move 2 spaces. I think I'm going to move here because then I'll give them a little bit less reason to move in here and heal because they won't have a villager there to protect. I don't know if that's sound logic or not, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to attack with 2 more dice, and I just have to do 1 hit. Alright, so I rolled an ebb, and normally if the heroes roll an ebb, that gives me ebb, which is my currency that I can spend in the game. And but when I roll ebb, I don't get anything. One of the judges does let you get stuff when you roll ebb, but this one doesn't. So I did 1 wound, so the villager moves off the edge, and so I get to kill the pawn that I attacked. And then because of the Harvestmen's implant ability, when I kill a villager, I get to spawn a new Harvestman. And then most of these momentum cards have rules for when they're defeated, how they move around in the order. So this villager just got defeated, so it moves to the left 1 space. Alright, so I think that is it for the Harvestmen. So now, Dan, your turn with the blade.
Well, I don't have a lot over here, so but I'll ready a thrown blade. I mean, like 1, 2. Even if I roll a die and got a couple, it's going to be tough to actually kill 1 this turn, I think. Probably. So I'm not going to necessarily do that.
Yeah, unless you were able to chain attacks together.
Well,
but I'm guessing you didn't get those cards.
Yeah. So I'm going to prep agility underneath this thrown blade.
Okay.
So we have that available. And then, so we're going to move 1 every turn, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the nice thing about the blade, because he has a lot of cards that let him move while he's attacking, so you can move around the board a lot better. Only if you get those cards, of course, though.
Well, the only other thing I can do here, really, is I can move to the edge to make sure I go first next round.
That's true, yeah. So what Dan's talking about is that every character, every Thornwatch character has a plan ability where they can discard a card and pull their momentum card off of the momentum track, and then after I resolve momentum, they come back in and are guaranteed to go first the next round.
But, I mean, to get there, I'd have to go here to actually be close enough to step in to do damage to the guys.
Oh,
up here, I'm too far away.
True.
So, and this thing takes an action and a move
you
to
have
get
to
off
use your
the
move
tile.
and action,
But
so that's all you would get to do on that turn.
So
you could just stay there and then move in there next round.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll have to probably do that, so that's it for me.
Yeah. Okay. And in this scenario, too, we got tiles that are diagonal to each other, which sucks because you can't move diagonally. Were you going to do plan, or are you just going to not?
I'm not as to be on the edge, so now I'm staying where I'm at.
Oh, right, yep, okay. Alright, then Dara, your turn with the wolves in.
Okay, I'm going to power up a card called Dark Fruit.
fruit.
Yes. So it allows me to bind an enemy up to a tile away, and after playing this action, this card, I can take another action.
Okay.
And so that enemy will not be able to move, and it can only attack me.
Nice. Okay, so you can say, hey, you can only attack me, and they can't move, and you get to take another action. So you could do that now.
I'm going to power up another card called Clearing Strike, which is a 2 ranged attack, and each ally on an enemy tile may move 1 tile, and the enemy may not use reactions to this movement.
Okay, so that's one you'd want to wait until he's with a group of spiders.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over here, and then I'm going to... Should I bind this one here? Or should I wait to bind next turn?
Since you're there, you can remove one of those
Right.
leaves to give me 1 fewer spider, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But
Right.
that's all you can do. So,
That's what I was trying to
so if you
decide
do
how to
that
bind.
first, then you could get another action, which you could use to do that.
Yeah, so if I bind him, he can't attack her, he has to attack me.
And,
And
you get
then-
another action, which
And you can't move.
and
Right.
you can't move. Yeah, which is really good with these guys since they can move a lot.
Right, and then he can't move back to my spider nest.
True.
Those guys can get there though.
And I'll get to spawn another one.
That's the important part. Yeah.
So is that all you're doing?
Yeah.
Don't forget to discard your brawn.
What are yours? Your brawn and Dex?
Wood-wise?
Mine. He's brawn and mind. Is that
It's
what?
brawn and wood
Wood-wise.
wise is what it's called.
No, I mean your abilities, your skills.
Yeah.
You're using brawn and mind.
Wood
No.
wise.
Oh, wood. Oh, that's the name of the skill.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the
No, it's
name
not.
of the guys.
No, he's a
Wolfson.
wolfson. And I use
which
wood-wise.
is admittedly a very difficult word to say.
Yes. Oh, and since I
So is
finished-
weave wield though. So.
When I finish my turn, you may move 1 pawn towards me.
Oh yeah, but I can't move that one probably.
You can't. Because he's stuck there. Because my fruit.
Is it?
Is it 1 pawn or 1
Is-
space?
This is 1 pawn, 1 tile towards
1
me.
tile.
And it just has to be towards you. It doesn't have to be into your tile.
Yeah.
So I could just move one of these spiders here, or
Yeah.
But it has to be towards you, so I couldn't move them here because that's not in your direction.
Basically the only. Well, I guess this is technically towards them.
Yeah, and I can move villagers too, so I could move this villager up here, and then there'd be a spider there at the beginning of my turn.
I suppose that would.
Because it just says
Correct.
pawn, and I could actually move you too. So that's interesting. I think I'm going to move one of these spiders here.
Okay.
And then, alright, second round. So I'll shuffle up these. Harvestmen are first.
That's not good.
Villagers. Then you two. That is not good. Alright. The Harvestmen don't have a momentum shift though, so wherever they go, that's where they're at, which is nice for you guys, unless they're first. Let's see. They get a momentum shift if they're ebb infused, but
It's fine. You don't need to infuse them.
no, they're bad enough already. Really, the only thing that changes though between the ebb infused and the not ebb infused side is their base attack does 3 dice instead of 2, but nothing else changes. So I get to place a spider right there, and all right. So this turn, I think I'm just going to move the spiders into the Grove Lion and not worry about everything else, because I have to do a lot of damage to the Grove Lion at the beginning. So, this Grove Lion, which the Thornwatch are trying to protect, we use his momentum cards under here as a measure of his hit points. So there are 5 cards here, and I have to do 6 damage to him to remove a card, and then the next time I'd only have to do 5 to remove a card. So he gets easier as you go, but at the beginning he's pretty tough. And then this Thicket Shield, while the heroes are there, they also get to add 1 attack to their die, or 1 die to their attack. But let's see. Yeah, so I can't move these guys directly there, but they can move twice, so they can go like this. And then let's do, I'll move that guy in there too. And then that guy can't move, but this one can, so he's going to go there. and then I'll leave this one here again. Okay, and then these two are both going to attack this, and I just have to do 6 damage cumulative throughout the round to that card. So basically, each of them needs to do 3 damage. I don't know why I just didn't grab those. Okay, so that's 2.
Need a perfect roll here.
I need to do 4 damage, which is possible, but not likely.
Don't do it.
Alright, so I've done 4 damage cumulative to that card. I think I'm going to do the same thing I did last time and move this guy back over here. It's nice to have that spider nest to spawn them, but I've gotten so many at this point, I'm not too worried about it. I just need to do 2 more. Yeah! Alright.
Oh, our poor lion.
Poor lion.
And I could have been spending Ebb, but to do more stuff. But with this judge, I can only spend Ebb to add wounds to the heroes, not damage to anything else. So I wouldn't be able to spend Ebb to have increase those attacks. So the first card of the Grove Lion is done. So now there's only 4 sitting there, and so I'll have to do fewer hit points later. Okay, so those guys are done, and then this guy is going to attack the blade. Get no hit points.
He's hiding. He's in between the trees and the houses there. No!
And of
not
course,
very brave, but...
and unfortunately with this judge too, you can use Ebb to add wounds, but only if you actually hit them. So since I didn't hit him, I can't do anything with that. Oh man, that was a bad roll. Thank goodness I killed one of those cards, otherwise this would have been a really bad turn. Let's see. Yeah, so that's it for the Harvestmen. Alright, so now it's the villagers' turn, and you've got lots of villagers with people.
Spiders.
So on the villagers' turn, each villager that is in the same tile as a Harvestman, you guys can move them 1 space. So all 3 of them, so you can move them 1 space away from where they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we just move them out?
Is this one? Is this?
You can only attack me.
But is it only? I think it's only for 1 turn though. So now this is done.
Oh, I thought it was just until. Okay, fine.
Well, it's still good. I just think it's only for that 1 turn.
Just until your turn is up.
Probably.
Yeah. And then put him over here because we can heal.
You can heal over here.
Yeah.
And then
So this one you could move here.
to the ley line.
That way you can heal again if you move there. Or you could move her further out.
Well, here you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, sure. I guess. That's fine. Like, they're going to be able to get to those outside places.
Yeah, that's
they can move to.
Right, that's the
Like,
only
they
bad
can
thing.
get to everywhere.
So it doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
but the only thing they can't do is go from here to here. Or here to here.
Right.
Other than that, they can get everywhere.
Which is,
Okay.
not helpful.
Or, I mean, I guess if they're here, they can't get all the way to the other side of the map. But still, they can move a lot. Alright, so that's it?
Yep.
Alright, so that wasn't too bad, because I didn't hit him at all, and I only got rid of 1 card there. So, but they're all the way at the root, so it's going to be hard to kill them again.
Alright, my turn.
Yes, Walton's turn.
I'm going to power up the hammer and anvil.
Which
That
does.
sounds good.
Right, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
They all sound awesome.
It is, I'm not going to fully power because I can't use it yet. But it lets me do 2 melee attack and it allows you to make a 3 melee attack.
Ooh,
But do you have to be on separate tiles?
Says another hero. Oh, another hero here. You have to be on the same
That's
time.
good to know.
But still, I'm
That's
not
okay. We
using
can
it
run
yet.
into that Grove Line
Yeah,
area.
this would be a good place to do that.
Yeah.
So hopefully next round you guys end up before them. So
Start
they
getting
can't.
smacky. Yeah.
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 Like, I'm going to only partially power this one up because I'm going to remove that spider's nest.
Oh, yes. That's going to be your action.
Yes, and I'm also going to lay this down because it only says 2 fully powered, so I can lay down as many partially powered.
Yeah,
as
you
I
can
want.
lay down as many Which one did you just lay down,
So
though?
I laid down Nature's Law. So it says another hero up to 1 tile away may make a 2 melee attack and then take another action.
Yeah, that's nice.
Also, your special ability as the Woldson lets you give other people actions too. I think your harvest, or no, it lets them draw cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. I am going to
Remove that. All right. So no more spawning. No more spawning monsters from there. You can still spawn monsters if I kill villagers.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay.
Alright, so you're done there?
Yeah.
Alright, Blade's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to prepare second chances here with a mind card. That lets me draw 2 cards from my discard pile and then take another action,
Yes.
which is handy.
Yep.
I'm going to equip my Throne Blade, so that's up and ready to go if need be.
Yeah, that's a good card.
Not
Also, your harvest ability, it's not just draw cards, it's draw cards from their discard pile. So you can, on your turn, you can let him draw cards that he's already played.
Oh, that's nice. Also, since my turn was done, you could have moved something towards me.
You're right.
Decisions. No.
Villager does not want to run to the spider. They don't.
I took my ebb and I went and I mind controlled her over to the thing.
Okay.
It's really not cool.
I still don't think that since I'm going last, we're not going to be able to get that down even with my 2 things here. So
You are on the edge now, though, so you can guarantee going first next round if you wanted to try doing that with the plan.
when on the edge. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. So I'm going to go. Oh, when on the edge means that, not the edge of the board.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
you can still move though.
I misinterpreted what that meant.
Oh,
yes,
gotcha.
I thought it meant
Sorry
edge
about
of the
that.
board. No, it's good. So I will do that. So I'll guarantee
Okay.
to go first.
And you can still move if you want to.
Yeah.
So I'm removing his
But
card.
okay, so on that, if I go on this card there, I draw 1 less card.
You draw 1 less card, but when at the beginning of your next turn, you'll be able to discard a card and draw a new card.
Yes.
And then does this go away once that happens? It's like a one-time, like, because don't these go away when they trigger?
No.
Well, certain ones do.
Certain ones
Oh,
do.
okay.
So like the spider nest, that went away because we got rid of
I
all the
gotcha.
tokens, but most of these are permanent.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna probably be moving in there anyway, so I don't want.
Yeah.
I want to draw more cards.
Yeah,
So
and it
I'm-
depends on what cards you draw too, because you might draw cards and being here would give you more cards, and you might draw cards that
Yeah.
do range.
I want a full hand of cards, so I'm just gonna stay put.
Okay,
Good.
done.
Done.
All right. So since he did the plan action, I'm removing his card from the momentum track, and then I'll shuffle the other 3, and then once we're done resolving that, he'll get to go first, guaranteed. Which is really nice.
Make sure the spiders don't go first anymore.
Yeah, and the nice thing, I love the momentum track because you're guaranteeing he's going first, and you're guaranteeing that it's going to take 1 less damage at least to kill a spider because he's guaranteed to be at least second. I love that about the momentum track, how it's initiative and damage at the same time. Nice.
Yes.
You both get to go
That
first.
helps us a lot.
Yeah, they're going
Two
last.
rounds. Oh, that's
Now
really
I have to hit
nice.
him once.
And they don't have a momentum shift.
Yeah.
I can shift them though.
Please don't.
So I'm going to spend 2 ebb to shift them once.
That makes
That's
sense.
that's okay.
That makes so much sense, but
And then I'm also going to spend 4 ebb, which is all of the ebb I have, by the way, so that they're ebb infused. So they're going to be easy to kill, but if they get to hit you,
are they
They're
spraying
gonna-
venom at us now?
they're going to hit you real hard. The only thing that's different now is that they do more. They get another die. So on a lot of the monsters, they have these rules cards, and almost all of them you can flip over by spending ebb, and then they become ebb infused. And basically, for the spiders, that means that on their basic attack, when they're not ebb infused, they do 2 damage, or they roll 2 dice. When they're ebb infused, they do 3. And when they're ebb infused, they also get a momentum shift, which a lot of monsters just get inherently, but these ones don't. On the other side, there's no arrow up here. And what that means is when you resolve momentum, they'll move for earlier in the turn order with that ability. But I would have had to have done that last round in order for them to get that shift now. So they didn't get the shift, but they will next round if I'm able to keep them ebb infused, because in order to keep a monster ebb infused, at the end of their turn you have to spend more ebb, and I just spent all of my ebb, so that is unlikely to happen unless these guys get unlucky and roll ebb. So they'll probably only be ebb infused for one round. Which is good for you guys. But alright, so I think that's everything. So since, Dan, you did the plan action, you get to go first.
Yep, so I played Twist the Knife, which when an ally wounds an enemy on the same tile, I can hit it again for a wound. It just does an extra hit and wound.
Yep.
So I think I'm just going to move in probably here. And because that way we can get to the same tile, because that's going to be good for us. And and then I'm going to do my 2 dice here against. I guess I got to use my throwing blade. So even though they're ranged attacks, I mean,
yes, you can use a ranged attack in the same tile.
Yeah, I mean, well, you just target. I mean, like you're just targeting. So so let's go and roll that.
So
2. That's good.
And technically, it does matter. So like, let's just say you attacked this one.
Yep, that's fine. That goes into my discard, and
oh, I'm sorry. While you're there, you actually get to roll an extra die.
Oh,
so go ahead. Not that it matters because you already you missed anyway. But
it does matter for like ebb and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me. So,
Okay.
I draw one less card.
You draw one less card. Yep.
And what's that? When does the bomb come in?
At the beginning of your next turn.
Beginning of your turn. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this is going to be really cool, guys. I'm going to finish powering up my hammer and anvil.
Okay.
I'm going to fully power up my nature's law.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm gonna move first, and then
Angry tree coming back.
Angry
That's
tree.
what you get for attacking the Grove Lion.
Yeah, my cool tree friends. All right, so I'm gonna play nature's law. So that means, how is I gonna do this? First of all, no, we're gonna do this in the right order. Nature's law, fully powered it up. Another hero 1 tile away may make a 2 melee attack. So
Which
that
means a 3.
3 melee.
Oh yeah, so you get the bonus. All right, let's go. Roll a wound.
Oh, 2 ebb, yes!
We did get one more, though.
We killed one.
We killed one.
You did kill one.
So this one's
Yeah, that
gone.
one's
That
done.
one's gone.
Yep.
And then he does have a momentum shift now, so he goes like this.
That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. So
And
now
let's see, does anything happen when they die?
Yeah, we forgot that last time. We forgot the little strike back thing on the.
Oh yeah,
on the guys
the
last time,
skeletons.
the skeletons.
Yeah. These guys, nothing happens when they die. It's when they kill other things.
Okay.
So
and so I can take another action.
okay.
So I'm going to play hammer and fully power up hammer and anvil now,
But you're gonna move first.
and move in.
Okay.
And so I'm going to do a 2 melee, which is actually a 3 melee attack
Nice.
because I am with the Grove line.
This is pretty courageous.
I think so.
Hey, look, more ebb.
But I did 2 damage to it, so I push it to the edge. And since I did that, Dan can now take a 3, which is a 4
Oh my goodness.
melee attack.
Wow. So a lot of anger coming here.
Did 2.
No,
Yep.
2.
Two,
So that
that's
kills
not killing
another
them.
One would have been enough. So they get pushed off the edge. Another one dies, and they get moved back up a little bit. Dang.
I told you it was going to be a good turn.
Yeah. Now there's only 3 spiders left. I'm a little scared now. All right.
And then I'm going to put these down to power up later.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Feeling a little urgent now.
You got a little ebb back though. So there's
I
that.
did get a little ebb back, which is good. All right. So now it is the Harvestmen's turn. Thankfully, since you guys were killing them, they got to move up. They would have been last, but they moved up a little bit. All right. So let's see.
Oh yeah, that would actually be something I could do.
What?
Well, when I could use the twist of knife, because we killed the enemy that was being targeted. Right? This is after an ally wounds an enemy, hit that enemy, so it has to be the same. Like
Yeah, I would. Well, yeah, I would think it would have to be the same pawn, but you could have used it on her first attack, probably, because she didn't kill it the very first attack.
That's okay. We won't. We'll
Yeah,
just wait.
but next time she attacks,
Because otherwise, we have to push it down to make
Yeah.
them go last. But
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna move. I'm basically just gonna move them all in here and attack the Grove line.
Oh, just all in.
Yeah, just so I can do something.
Feel like you're being useful.
I feel like no. I have to leave one. I'm gonna leave one here and attack the villager. That way I can spawn a new one. Because
The villager's gonna dodge it. Just for the record. No, it's not. It's at the bottom of it.
I don't think so. Alright, also I get to roll 3 dice
If
now.
only.
It was hopeful. Thank
So
you.
this one's gonna attack this villager. That way I can spawn at least one spider.
I wish there was-
Unless I miss, which is totally possible.
I wish they could take care
Alright.
of themselves.
So I killed a villager, and then it does that. And then, so that villager lets me spawn.
I'm
a
glad
spider.
that we only really care about the tree. Like, we don't lose. Do we lose if all the villagers die?
Yes.
Okay.
So
we
you
have
have
2 left.
So you have to protect all the villagers, but so I lose if you kill all the spiders. You lose if all the villagers are dead and this is gone. So basically, you just have to protect the villagers now.
So, like, we just have to kill all those dang spiders.
Okay, and then I'm gonna make 2 3-dice attacks against this grove lion, and I have to do 5 damage between those 2 attacks.
That's because you're having 2 still.
Yeah. So there's 3, 6. So
Bye bye, Groveland.
bye bye.
Your ebb and fuse lasts forever.
No, it's you have to upkeep it with more ebb. So it costs 4 to ebb infuse it, and then each monster has a different upkeep cost. This one you have to pay 2 to ebb and to
Which
keep
is why
it.
I was happy we kept giving them that.
Which is why I was happy
right,
you
right.
did.
Well,
Yeah. That's a lot of ebb though, and so I want to save that ebb to move them around in the momentum. So I think I'm going to let them go back to not being ebb infused. So I think that's it for the spiders, and then the villagers. They don't do anything because they'd have to be in the same tile as a spider, which neither of them are. So that's it.
Cool.
Alright, so that was a bad round for me.
I don't know. Killed one of the 3 remaining villagers, so
Yeah,
it wasn't terrible.
And you killed another Grove Lion part.
thankfully I was able to spawn one, so you guys you killed one less, basically, but
Rude.
I told you the spiders are nasty.
I know, but
Well, you went first 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, that did
so,
not help.
So being able to like spawn 2 extra minions right away was pretty helpful.
That was rough.
Yeah, that's what the
Alright,
little pattern does, though.
hey, I go first.
You do get to go first. Dan's last, though, which is unfortunate.
Okay.
Granted, though, if you hit the spiders, they'll move down, so he'll move up, which we did. So in this case, it would almost be worth it to if you can on your turn to hit them enough to get them down here, but then leave them alone because then they'll be way down here, and then Dan will be able to go before them and kill them.
I might be able to do that.
So you'd have to do 2 damage to them, to one of them.
We shall see.
Because if you kill them, then they'll move back ahead of him.
Okay.
Oh no, they won't actually. You don't have to worry about that because they aren't ebb infused anymore, so they don't have a momentum shift anymore.
So they just come back on.
So they'll just come back right onto the edge. So you can kill them to your heart's content.
I like it. Let's do some murdering.
Yeah.
Alright, so I am going to fully power up Scatter the Chaff.
This is at the beginning of the turn of the round.
Oh,
This is at the beginning of the turn, so you could discard a card to draw a new one if you want to. But neither of you have any wounds yet because I haven't been hitting you. So
I'm
Yeah,
fine
but
with
sometimes
what I
you
have.
want the skill.
the skill
Yeah.
card,
I have what I need, so I'm
Okay.
good. Alright, so I'm going to power up Scatter the Chaff, which lets me do a 2 melee attack, move 1 enemy, move the enemy you attacked 1 tile, then repeat against each other enemy there.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can attack this, move it, and then attack the other one.
Yep. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And since I'm with the Grove Lion, I got to do a 3 melee attack.
And you'll be able to move both of them because it's repeat the entire thing. So you'll attack this one and move it, and then attack that one and move it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll move all of them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You might not damage both of them, but you'll move both of them.
So I hit it for 3.
Okay, so that moves it down to the edge,
And
and then
then-
you can move it.
Okay, before we do that though, let's just twist the knife on it to kill it off.
I I agree.
Yeah, and because you can do that at instant speed.
Well,
so
just
you can
says
do
after it hits the wound.
Yep,
right?
you can do it before.
So
So you just do a wound to it?
It just says hit it again for a wound. Yep.
So that spider is dead.
Okay. No, it doesn't.
Oh,
do
it doesn't shift. You're right. I'm used to the everything.
Yeah,
Almost
once,
everything
yeah.
does.
Mhm.
So
Okay. And then I can repeat against another enemy.
Yep.
Hit that.
You did hit it once, so that's all you needed.
That's pretty good.
So
I was
that's
like, I
dead.
could have used my hero die if I needed to.
You
but
didn't.
I didn't.
That was really good. I think you guys are about to win.
Well, we're really good heroes, so.
The fact that these guys came out down,
Second from the bottom, yeah.
they came out just at the right spot that it wasn't too hard to get them to the edge.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Right. Villagers. Are
And I
safe.
could have moved them up so they went first, but I didn't want to spend the ebb if I didn't have to. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, villagers. The villagers again do nothing.
Oh, and you can move a pawn towards me if you would like.
True. I'm going to move one of those back towards you. The villagers did nothing because they didn't have any spiders with them. So now it is your turn, Dan.
Okay, so I think the first thing we want to do is pull some cards out of the graveyard here. So I'm going to just draw 2 cards from my discard pile and take another action. So I want this Twisted Knife.
And that's something I meant to check in the rules. I'm not sure if it has to be the top 2 cards of your discard or if it's just any 2 cards, but for now, just do it. Just do any.
Regardless, it's still the top 2.
Okay.
Right, so I mean, even if it is that,
Yeah.
that's what I'll be doing. So we got to prep some skills here, so we definitely want to prep that Twisted Knife.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's pretty good.
I forgot that it just auto does a wound. I
Yeah.
thought you still had to roll,
And
which is just crazy. Because the dice in this game are really nice. Like, the chance of not hitting is pretty low, but you still have the chance.
As we saw.
I mean, I guess I'm just going to try to kill that
This one
guy.
here.
What's that?
This one here.
Yeah, I mean, I just got hit once
Yeah.
on a bunch of dice.
And you wouldn't even have to use an action. You could just use your
I
daggers.
could,
Yeah.
but I think I'm actually going to do this so that I can move off of that and get a full hand of cards.
Oh, yep.
So I'm going to use this. It gives me 3 dice, which gives me 4
strike.
dice. So I'll grab another one there. I can move before or after the attack.
Yep.
So I'll move after.
So you did
There's-
2, but I
yep.
get an ebb.
You get an ebb.
Dead.
It's dead.
That's another deader. And then I'll move into where he's standing.
That card used to just be called Run-Hit.
Really? That's funny.
And they changed it because they're like, this is a much better name.
Run dash it. Run it. Let's do it.
It was very descriptive of what it was.
Alright.
Striding Strike is a little more thematic, I think.
Sure.
Random dash.
Run-Hit. Okay, so that's it for the blades. So now the Harvestmen finally get a turn after they're just like limping. Alright, so the one that's left,
Dropping out of a tree.
he's going to move twice up here.
No.
And he's going to hit this villager, which does nothing, basically, but just because I feel like it.
Well, it'll get you another guy.
Not,
Closer.
no, 'cause
I
you
can't
kill
kill
him
it.
this
Oh,
round.
because it's too high up. Well,
Yeah.
you could. Oh, because it's got to stop, right?
Yeah.
So what's their poison do? You said they were
When I
poisoned.
hit either of you,
Oh, you just
then-
haven't done that yet.
then the wounds go to your disc or go to your
in
hand
your
rather
deck. Yeah.
rather than your
Yeah,
discard.
that's right.
So I hit him enough to move him to the edge, but I don't have any more spiders, so I can't hit him anymore. And I don't think that I can do anything with my ebb. Yep, that's it. So that hit was just because I felt like
Just
it
for
didn't actually.
spite.
Yeah, it was spite. Yeah.
Spider spite.
Spider spite. Hopefully I'm not last this round. Okay, so that round actually sucked for me. The previous round wasn't great, but I still got some stuff done, but you guys killed all but one of my spiders. So,
Yeah, your abilities are just rocking.
I know.
Yeah,
I love
you-
it.
Singing over there.
you got your cards working over there. Alright, let's see. Ah, you get to go first again!
Ha! But you're second.
I'm definitely going to have to
That's
spend...
better than going further down.
I'm definitely going to have to spend the ebb this time.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm spending 2 ebb to move the Harvestmen up one.
Okay.
They can kill our villager because they're last.
Yeah, well, they can kill a villager.
Yeah. At least the other one's far away.
Yeah.
But that means I'll have 2 spiders, so I'll be a little bit more secure.
Oh gosh, I forgot you got one back.
Yeah, so I'm going to hit this villager here with 2 dice, and when I kill him, which I'm almost guaranteed to, I just have to do 1 hit, I'll get to replace it with another spider. But I could miss, so we'll see. 3 wounds, I definitely hit him. Alright, so that villager dies, but moves up. And then since that villager died, I get a new spider in that tile. And then, they don't talk about really in the rules, I don't think. It's been a while since I read the rule book in depth, but I don't think that if you spawn a new monster, I don't think there's any, like, you know, magic style summoning sickness or anything. I think I can use them since it's their turn. But let me see. Yeah, because it says, when a Harvestman defeats a denizen, replace that pawn with a Harvestman. So it happens right away, so it's not like an end of turn ability or anything. So I do have this one. So I will just... I'll just move that here. And then attack you. Because I definitely am not going to be able to do enough. Well, how many do I have to do now? I have to do 4 wounds, so I'd have to roll perfectly to hit the Grove Lion, so I'll attack you instead.
Okay.
So you take 2 wounds, and they go to your deck,
My
the
deck?
top of your deck. So the next time you'll draw, you're guaranteed to take those into your hand.
Yay!
But that might not even happen, because you might be able to kill everything. We'll see.
So, like, we have 2 spiders to kill now instead of just 1.
But there's only 1 villager left. So
I was feeling pretty confident when we only had 1 spider to kill.
that's why they're nasty, because they can spawn. Alright, so they are done, and Dara, it is your turn.
Okay. Oh, question.
Yes.
What is considered an ally? Is it just Dan, or do
Allies,
villagers
ally includes the villagers.
Okay, awesome.
But
Get the Grove Lion.
And I don't know, because that's a good question. I don't know about the Grove Lion. The only thing, does it say denizen on there?
No.
Or what does it say? No. Okay. The only thing that is not your ally is you. You are not your own
I
ally.
am not my ally.
They specifically say that in the rules, is that you are not your own ally.
Wow.
They actually say that in the rules for Gloomhaven as well. They're very specific about the fact that you are not your own ally.
I don't know what that says about me, but
You can't support yourself. You know.
You can inspire everybody else, but not you.
okay.
Alright, so what are you doing?
I'm going to do Clearing Strike. Or, sorry, I fully powered up Reaching Bows. So I activate when an enemy hits an ally.
Okay.
Which is why I want to clarify what an ally was.
While that's powered up, it does that.
Yes.
I'm really not sure if the Grove Lion would be considered your ally. I would probably say it is, just for thematic sake, but I don't know about rules-wise, but I would just say it is.
Okay.
Just for the sake of the theme.
And then I'm going to play Clearing Strike, which lets me hit 3 ranged attack.
3 because of the thick
Where
edge
am
shield.
I?
So are you going to do ranged and hit this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need another dice.
Oh, here you go.
I
Ebb
did
and
1.
wound.
I didn't do very well.
No.
But I can inspire my compadres and do my hero die.
Yeah.
You sure can.
Fire him.
Alright,
So I did 2.
That's unfortunate.
But was that inspiring by doing another damage?
sure.
Yay! I got another
But you can't use the hero die
That's
in the
fine.
same turn that you flip it over.
But I just got
Focus
another...
die, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so Dan, you'll have to do 2 actions in order to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Wold's in, you're done. Remember, you draw 1 less card.
Yep.
And you have wounds.
Yep.
In the rules, they talk about it where you're supposed to put the wounds facing outward, so your enemy or your heroes, your other heroes, know how many wounds you have in your hand, and so I know how many wounds you have in your
So
hand.
my enemies know as well.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's one of those things that it's one of those things in the rules that isn't necessary probably because like you guys can probably keep track of how many wounds you've been taking, but It's kind of a cool idea.
Well, it's good for you. It's good for you.
It's good for me to know, and there are characters that it's necessary for. There's a character called the Greenheart, which is like the cleric healer, and they can heal you. So it's good to know who has wounds.
Sure.
And then it's also, there's a character from the expansion called the Briarlock, which can use wounds to power his abilities. So he's like a blood mage, and he can also take other people's wounds out of their hand into his. So it's kind of important in those situations.
Sure.
But okay, so the villagers, I think again nothing happens because it's just the one over there, and they don't have a spider with them. Spiders already went, so Dan, your turn.
Okay, so I'm just going to prep this hidden blade. Fully prep it here. Let's take you 2 and take another action. I did, but I have to be in the zone.
You have to be in the same space.
Yeah. And then I will spend my plan to plan.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So going first seems good.
Yes.
All right, that's me.
That's it?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh.
Alright, so Dan again did the plan action, so his momentum card has been removed while I shuffle the rest. So Woldzen, Villager,
I like this
Harvestmen.
going
That
first way.
seems pretty good for us.
I do have 2 though. 2 ebb.
But
It's all on my ebb, but so I can move him up 1.
okay.
But then Dan planned, so he gets to go right at the beginning. So you have to do at least 2 attacks to kill me, which is nice.
Yep.
So Dan, you get to
And
go
I can
first
discard a card and draw a card.
at the beginning of your turn, which I mean it probably won't matter, but it might.
Okay, so I will fully prep this backstab ability,
Ooh, that's a good card.
which seems good.
Yes.
I'll move in to there.
Okay.
Yep. And let's take some swings. So we'll take this one first. Let me do 2, which is 3 here, and then take another action.
So you did 3 wounds
3
down,
wounds. Yep.
and then you get to take another
Take
action.
another action.
I like it.
So I will. I'll backstab. Go ahead.
So that's 4 wounds,
Yeah,
4
that's
dice.
4 dice. Yeah.
Dang.
So 4 wounds.
You only needed to do 1.
Both hands. Right?
Double stabs.
So there's that. And
You like jumped on. You literally jumped on the spider's back and like shoved them both
Yeah,
in.
that's good.
That's
Alright,
pretty reckless.
That's it for me.
It was pretty reckless, but I don't think he needs the focus dice.
No,
Me
I
not.
think we're okay. 'Cause you're gonna,
All right, so you can discard a card and draw a new one.
I did.
Okay. And then, yeah, you just need to kill the 1 spider that's left, which I think you'll probably be able to do.
Okay. I'm going to
Oh, I should turn this. Not that it matters a whole lot.
move there, and I'm going to discard this as my tree trunk.
Oh, so you're just going to do your
just
basic
gonna
attack.
whack him with your trunk. Yeah.
Right, that's
You're
all I
doing
really
the thing. You're doing the thing from the new Avengers movie where Groot like grew his arm and then just like
whack them.
smack people.
I am
You
Groot.
basically are Groot.
Female Groot.
There it is.
I did
So I get
one.
an ebb, but it doesn't matter. So
Hey.
You are dead.
Harvestman, last Harvestman is dead. Alright, so at the beginning of the scenario, I didn't read the story, I forgot to read it, so I'll read it now. So it says, the bent bow knot has been tied, and swiftly you are drawn to a battle. The villagers cannot fight this foe alone. Without its daughter, this grove lion that would protect this place has stood unmoving for a generation. The winter chill is dark and long, and sets the bairns a-weeping. Without a guardian fell and strong, the harvestmen come reaping. So that was the problem, but so they won. So they are going to earn this Crest of Winter and Wind, which lets them place the Hibernal Balm on the board next game, along with the Autumnal Balm. So they'll be able to place both. Since they completed this adventure, we will do Spring and Salt next. So they don't have to do they don't have to do this failure mission. One of these I'll win. Probably not. Since they won, we'll do Spring and Salt next, and it says, the threat of the Harvestmen has been quashed, and the village remains protected by its grove lion. Someday the lion may be coaxed to vibrancy again, but for now its resting state is enough to keep the village alive. So each player gains the Crest of Winter and Wind, granting the power to place the Hibernal Balm, which they'll be able to place next time. And then we'll go to the Spring and Salt next. So, and then since they won the crest, the hibernal crest, it says, it's dangerous to call the Thornwatch in the dead of winter, when the birch may crack and the spell leak from the wound. But there are times, thrice-cursed times, when a winter summons is the least of two evil roads. So, they won, and so next time we'll do Spring and Salt, which involves these peddlers, which live in shells. They kind of are like snails a little bit. They're pretty interesting monsters, so that's what we'll deal with next time. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll be back in a couple weeks.